your view on the game, Robin?
Oh, well, I mean, I've just said to the lads, bigger picture, which is almost my favourite way to start after a loss. Bigger picture, we've got a losing bonus point away from home against a top 3 side from last year, which I would call it kind of par, really. We had the opportunity to maybe go above par and get the win here today if we'd have been a little bit more clinical with some of our opportunities we created. At the same time, I thought Wasps did very well to kind of seize the momentum of the game in a period during the second half that we never really wrestled back, if the truth be known. I think that was the element for me I'd like to have a really good look at and see whether we went a bit edgy or went a bit quiet, or whether it was just really good play from Wasps. I mean, Wasps did some very good things in that second period. So we've got a few things to look at. Obviously, a few of the individual players, when you lose a close game, as they will, we'll look at some individual mistakes we made. Little areas where we lost the ball or we knocked on or dropped things. Those things will be things that we can work on through the course of the season. But overall, the way I would look at it is that we've actually put a pretty good baseline in here today in our first performance. And what I'll be talking to the players about and encouraging the players is about last season, where we put in a pretty good performance up at Bath, and we're probably in control of the game in a lot of ways as we were here today for quite a long time, and ended up losing. Got a losing bonus point, but it gave us a kind of baseline that we then really pushed on for a very successful season. And that's really going to be the battle for us now, is make sure that's our baseline and we improve from there, which I actually think we will. I think looking at the number of the guys, I think they needed a really, really tough game today to really start getting the lungs and the legs going. That would be good for us. We haven't picked up too many injuries. We're a bit of a frustrated, disappointed changing room. That's a pretty good sign. And as I said, we're up and running now, which is the most important thing. I would like to have won, of course I would. Am I hugely disappointed with the performance? No. I think there's a few frustrating elements there, but nothing that we can't put right pretty quickly.
How did you feel the 10, 12, 13 combo went for the first time?
Pretty well, and I actually think that was probably one of the elements where I would have liked them to have kind of backed themselves that little bit longer in the second half. Because if anything, I thought we probably lacked a little bit of. I was going to say composure, but composure is probably not the right word. Bit of patience. There was a couple of times in the second half where we had field position and we were playing, playing some phase play. And yes, we weren't really making massive inroads with each piece of play, but we were slowly grinding away and we were slowly getting the odd carry. And then you could see a bit up for me watching. I could feel a bit of momentum building. And we made a few decisions to maybe look for a little miracle offload or just push something a bit harder than we needed to. Actually we didn't need to. We were going really well in the wearing down process there of a Wasps team that was having to get side to side to defenders. And I would have liked to have seen us just keep the ball there, show a little bit more composure. And I think you're more likely then to get the penalty that gets you in the corner, that gets you the momentum of the game. And actually by giving up possession, a couple with some poor kick decisions, a couple of poor handling errors, once you give up possession to Wasps and they're carrying at you, the game flips. It becomes you being the team under pressure. You've got to make your defensive things work. And obviously we got stung by a try, we got stung by a couple of pens once they got in possession, and all of a sudden you feel the momentum dripping away. And that's what I felt happened a little bit. And I would have liked that, I'd like the team as a group to have really locked itself down there, and I think that was the winning and losing of the game for us. But fair play to Wasps, they took the game away from us in that period. They did the opposite. They knew what they wanted to do then. They kept at it for a 10 or 15 minute period that just brought them back and brought them through.
In an ideal world, never exists for a coach, I know, but in an ideal world, would Henry Slade be your 10? Is that where you see him, or is it just going to be?
It's a question I'll need to tell you after a period of time. Yeah. I think if you say ideal world, I suppose if you look at our resources in midfield, you'd say yes. But I think ideal world is you get your best players on the field. And so, I'll talk about that when I see everyone up and running, everyone playing well, a couple of different combinations, and then we make it work. I don't know. There may be a combination there with Henry Slade at 10 that's our best. There may be a combination there with Henry Slade at 12 or 13 that's our best. And at this stage, Henry started at 10 today. I think he's gone well. I think he merits further opportunities there. That certainly wasn't a bad, as I said about the team, it certainly wasn't a bad baseline performance for a guy who hasn't played at 10 in the Premiership for quite a while now. Okay.